Ah, Josh, I almost had it. Josh is the one editing these later, so I almost had that. That was almost a perfect intro. But we're back. This is another episode of the ORG podcast. My name is Cade. I own a small little lab here in Texas, and I get to interview these amazing people, these other lab owners across the United States and other countries, maybe, if they like this enough. But before we get into today's guest, which is Tina, I got a few things to cover. The first one is, let me bring this up, is we do have a conference coming up. It is the 2024 ORG Conference and Expo. It's at the Westin Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, really Irving, Texas, but we'd call it Dallas. And it is April 5th and 6th, and we are looking forward to seeing everybody there. More details are coming. We got a list of classes that we're working on right now, and splints and maybe some twin blocks, maybe some 3D printing of Ponic teeth. I don't know. We're working through all that, so we hope to see y'all next year, 2024. But speaking of the 2023 conference where this picture was taken, we do have some t-shirts left over, and you can get those t-shirts from the website. If you go to the home screen, orthodonticresource.com, and you click down here, the official ORG merch, and you can get your t-shirts there. And we do have a few left. We have 6 smalls left, 5 mediums, 17 larges, 4 XLs, and 8 2XLs t-shirts left. So if you didn't get a t-shirt, and on the back, I don't know if you can tell, if I can click on this, it actually shows all the labs that are members of the ORG. So we'll talk about that when I bring on Tina. She did a pretty cool thing with her t-shirt, but it's on the back as of March 2023. So if you remember, as of March 2023, you are on this t-shirt, and we'll look into getting some new ones done later on. But without further ado, somebody is calling me. Spam risk. Turn that off. I'm gonna bring on she's laughing. I can see her down below. She's laughing at me. But I also want to show you right here with the white pants on. She's down here in the front row. That's Tina Hansen. Tina, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, I've been excited about this. We always have a good time at these conferences, which is where I first met you. Was
Right.
at one of those conferences, and you've been coming for years.
Well, yeah, it's been a few now.
Yeah, and you're in Colorado, so you travel every year to come here. Even the 2021, I think you came to that one that we canceled, and then had it in October, and you came, you're like, where's all the ortho classes? I was like, they all canceled, sorry.
Where did everybody go?
Yeah, why am I the only one here? But as you can see, that's our group picture we have there, and we always have a good time. And in fact, one of my best memories of you, Tina, is in the 2022 vendor day. I grabbed you. I go, we were trying to live stream this. Do you remember doing this? And I got a video of us right here. I don't know if you can hear it or not.
What unit is this that we're looking at here?
Oh.
One of these. I have the PUKB3. What is this?
So this is actual laser welder. We have an electrode. Yeah, so something like this. Oh, okay. So you do the laser ones too. Impulse, huh? Yeah. So we got the little pulse welders just like these, and we make 4 different models of them, different power ranges.
Well,
that's tiny.
I'm telling you, we had a great time doing this.
There's an ignition key on it.
I ended up. I still have my little PUK D3 welder, and but that laser welder is dreamy. Dreamy.
Oh yeah, we got to play with it, and I won't play it all, but we got to. That's a.
And there's no key involved.
Anyway, I'll let that. But I'm telling you, I had a great time. We walked through the exhibit hall, and got to talk to, I forgot who all we talked to, Form Labs and and Sunstone and everybody. So yeah, I had a great time. And I wanted to repeat that the next year, but I didn't get a chance to have Tina be my co-host during that.
That was a whole lot of fun. I really enjoy flying by the seat of my pants, as every lab does.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, and that brings me to my very first question. Speaking of labs and labs owners, how in the world did you get into the ortho lab world? How did that start for you?
It is somewhat of a sad story. My late partner Bonnie was a lab owner pretty much her entire professional career. She started out as sorry about that. Anywho,
we all have that.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yes, doctor, I'll come pick up. Oh, wait, hold on.
Wait. Who is this again?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. No, Bonnie started out as an ortho tech at a doctor's office, and then through much like Priscilla's story, really liked the ortho side or the appliance side of things. And, the doctor would stay late every night and bend wires and make hollies. And I remember Bonnie telling me the story. I would look at him and say, I can do that. Have you ever seen something on TV or out and about or look at trade shows and think to yourself, I know I can do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks easy.
I'm sure I can do that. And of course, somebody else would be like, yeah, there's no way I could do that. No way. But she was one of those people who said, yeah, I think I can do that. And sure enough, he taught her how to do that. And she ended up going to, I think it was a school in Buffalo. I think it was at Great Lakes to learn.
Oh, yeah. Great Lakes has hands-on courses. Yeah.
Yes. I think she learned the Frankel, the Bionator, some of those complicated.
Oh, yeah.
And they looked serious.
Yeah. Now that's one of those, I'm a lab tech. I'm like, I can't do one of those. I can't look at it and go, I can do that. No, I'd have to take a course on it myself.
Exactly. Well, fast forward several years, she had, I had been in construction. I started out as a tile setter and then worked my way into doing, sorry.
Spam. See?
Yep.
It's the spam. They're getting you too.
So I started, and Bonnie got sick in 2010. We discovered she had ovarian cancer.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I turned my business over to my superintendent, and he took everything over, and she succumbed to the disease in September 3rd of 2012. And I didn't want to get rid of the name Bonnie Brand Orthodontic Lab. And it was at first, a job of, I don't know, it was a heart thing. It was a love thing.
Keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah. And and it was very, very different just 10 years ago. We were still picking up plaster models and still complaining about how bad they were.
Yeah. You're like, get these, can't they take an impression?
Where's the band? I can't even see the band.
Yeah.
There's an echo of one here, but where is the band? So I didn't know too much about the business because, I don't know, it seemed like every other Saturday she'd have a pile of 65, 70 retainers that needed to be cut down and polished. Oh. And on Saturday morning, I would polish them. And every once in a while she'd come and help me do some tile work or help me with something. And then, I would go, how it is.
That was a true partnership right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And every marriage you have, you participate in each other's lives for sure. And so I didn't really get too much training on how to bend. We got to bending ball clasps and Adam's clasp, and then she passed. And so with my ambitious endeavor of keeping the lab alive, I called Priscilla at JBC and Company, and a few other vendors and a few doctors, and boy, I tell you what, they took me under their wing, and I got a crash course, and I did all-nighters by the, I can't even tell you, I must have taken probably 20 years off my own life doing all-night.
Oh, yeah.
It was unbelievable. We lost a lot of business.
Yeah, unfortunately that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't very good. You know, I'm good now, but I sure wasn't then, you know, and yeah, that's just the reality.
And kudos to the ones that stayed on board with you, and the ones that took you under their wing. The doctors that do that are keepers, in my opinion.
They're angels. They are angels. And Priscilla, I don't know, for those of you who talk to Priscilla every now and again, you get a class when you talk to her. You get
you get an education.
Oh, absolutely. I recently have endeavored in keyless expanders, you know, pre-activated expanders. And she gave me a good hour and a half lesson over the phone. And we both are, you know, like most lab people, they're visual and hands-on people. So as things are getting explained to you, you can almost visualize what these look like ahead of time. So it's just been, it's been great to have friends in the industry like this. And when I heard about DLAT conference, I was like, wow, I could learn a lot here. And sure enough, I think the first year, if I'm not mistaken, Norm, you know, that might have been
McDonald.
Yeah, or McMillan or
McMillan, McMillan.
Yeah.
And that was Priscilla that brought him in.
That was, and I learned a ton. And then I got online, and Steve Zara, I learned a lot from his, and Cade, I learned a lot from you. You have these excellent YouTube videos out here for anybody who wants a refresher in some things, or are hiring new folk. Get online and look up those two fellas. They will help you so much. It's a step-by-step education on fundamentals of your work or your craft. And I can't tell you how that has helped. You know, of course, I bought CDs and videos and all kinds of things for how to bend wires. Of course, how to make a study model doesn't pertain to us anymore.
Right? Yeah. You
know, but
you are a connoisseur of education. You knew I need to educate myself, and that is to be commended.
Thank you.
Like, I want to keep this lab going. And keep the name going, and I will do everything I can, and I will travel to 2 states over.
That's right.
And spend the weekend and watch videos online. It's like you were just craving it. Just
you know, it's amazing too, because our industry has changed so much. I remember buying my first 3D printer it's a little hobbyist printer. It was what, $500 for
a Frozen or Anycubic or something like that.
Anycubic. That's the one. And
you get off Amazon.
Yeah, I ended up getting 3 of those.
Oh, and wow!
Let me tell you, if I could print, I could put 4 or 5 models or arches on each build plate, and then so if you have 3 of them going on at the same time, you know, do the math. It was crazy great. And then of course I graduated to a Formlabs 3D printer, and you know, learning how to experiment with the isopropyl alcohol and how long to cure it. And I had these 2 those nail curing lights, the black.
Oh yeah.
I put those together and had a little model turntable thing, and you know, I'd turn it on and turn this battery operated thing on and rotate the you know, in a glass bowl, and rotate the models and bake them. We called it the easy bake oven, which we have the easy bake oven. But it's just changed so much in the last even 5 years. It's just amazing how it's changed. And if Bonnie were here today, she would be. She didn't even have a cell phone. She hated the computer. She hated all of that. Oh yeah.
So she hand wrote invoices and
Yep.
that kind, or typed them. I don't know. A
Yeah.
typewriter.
No, she hand wrote them on a 3-ring binder, like notebook paper. That's her stamp. Yeah.
Oh
She had a spiral bound notebook, and she would list all of the doctors and what they owed for the month. And then as the checks would come in, she'd just mark it off. Very basic.
That my wife would love that.
Yeah.
She just bought a paper register. She's like, I'm done with this online register. She got a paper register. She's writing everything down. So she's going back to the old school.
Sure.
But you had to take over a lab, keep it going, learn how to do it, and then you had to modernize it with like your hand. Like, you will modernize or you will die. That's how we all felt.
That is so true. And there was a backdrop of fear, I think, in every lab owner's mind, that this is gonna pass me by. If I don't get on board, I'm gonna be left behind. And that's true really with any industry. As things change. I mean, in the construction industry, the same thing. I mean, some of the leveling compounds, some of the complicated thin sets and grouts that are out there, the epoxies versus the cementitious product, the backer board, the things that will allow you to set a flooring and not have and have crack isolation membranes, things like that.
Oh my
the
gosh.
Technology is always, and my buddy
the
and
chemistry is always getting better.
It is. And I was fortunate enough to help invent the in-floor heat underlayment mats. And so that was a wonderful experience for me. And so that, I'm always up for some new and exciting technologies that come out, And if you look at it with a childlike, of course, I'm a child anyway. But if you look at it with a childlike attitude of wonderment and just open your mind up to what are the possibilities, all of them are possible, then you can come up with some really great and creative ideas on how to process your product. And as a matter of fact, I have one of those doctors. Let me show you something cool.
Oh yeah, we're getting a tour now.
Yeah. Let's see if I can. So you see this right here?
Vegetable glycerin.
Have you ever used that?
No.
Well, if you look in here, that's vegetable glycerin. And if you put your models in that after they've been washed, put them in there, you get a better cure.
What?
I know. The viscosity is, how light reflects, like when somebody's oiled down or slicked down, or if you got light reflects. And I don't, well, now I'm making it up. I'm just starting to make stuff up. But I don't know. A doctor said that he was online and he was in a chat group, and somebody had suggested that he try using vegetable glycerin to cure his models. And by golly, it works.
Really?
It is so nice. Yeah. Well,
wow. Well, I thought you had to do something like that with like mouth guards or splints digitally. I thought you kind of had to do something like that with them.
Maybe. I use it for models because it's, as we all know, it's difficult to pry off your acrylic if your model isn't 100% cured, and if you don't have good separator, or if you're painting on your separator and you miss a spot, by golly,
that spot will hang on for its dear life.
Cousin's gonna kiss. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah. That's a good way of putting it. They are definitely cousins.
Yeah. They are totally related, and they cling on to each other. So, But so, would you like a tour?
Yeah. So y'all were in the basement.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Y'all were in the basement y'all call it the basement.
It was it was literally the basement in our house, and I in order to print and in order to have room and all this stuff, I just in my I had to get out. If you're working from home, you will sacrifice your lunch hour. You'll not take breaks. You'll only unless you have a family event happening. You will stay and you'll work. The nice thing about it is you can work a little bit and then go upstairs and do a little laundry, and then work a little bit and then go back upstairs and prepare dinner, or work a little bit and so that's nice. In some flexibility is nice, but the reality is you stay down there too long and there's a huge risk of burnout. And then when you're deep in it, what the heck else are you going to do? What are you going to do for your living? How are you going to pay your bill? What are you going to, you got to have the right partnership, the right discipline, the right, and I didn't have that like Bonnie did. I just didn't.
There are, like, we talk about Steve Zara. He's a workaholic. He goes, I'll be careful because I'll just go down there and work. And he's in his basement is where he's at. And I'm a little different. I built a building. We're in a shed. I'm in a shed right now.
That's
but
cool.
you would be impressed with the construction that my dad did.
Wow.
Putting in all the insulation and stuff. Anyway,
Cool.
but it's 70 feet from my house, so I actually have to walk to the house, but I'm still within walking distance, so I can leave and come back.
You're right though, Kate. You're really hitting the nail on the head there. You if you have to go out of the house in the elements, go to work, it's different than just running downstairs.
Yeah.
It's just different.
I was in the garage before this, and you're in your pajamas. Maybe you put on shoes. You should, because you're gonna get a wire in your foot. But
you're gonna get those burrs. I get those anyway.
Oh yeah. The ones from the bristle brushes, the stainless steel bristle brush.
Yeah.
I can't say it.
I have a love-hate relationship with these damn.
Yes. Well, no, that Brandon, he was the second interview. He told me at the last conference that they have a love-hate relationship with those two in their lab, and they call it the MFers, but he doesn't say it. He says the whole word. He goes, I got an MFer in my shoe. Or a lady's like, it's in my bra.
Yeah. It's worse when it's on your butt.
Yeah.
Like on your on the apex of your butt cheek. and you just try to, you're like, oh, I know it's, and then you look, and people say, like, what are you doing? You're like,
what are you digging?
Got one in there, and you're like, yeah. So
who poked me?
Yeah. Stop that.
It's like Forrest Gump. Something jumped up and bit me.
That's right.
But yeah, the love, and then when you actually have to walk 70 steps, things fall off of you while you're walking. So less gets in the house. But if you're actually in the house, you're sitting on the couch and you jump up because something just poked you.
Yeah, we only had we had a modest house. The upstairs was about 1,200 square feet, and the downstairs was about 950. And you take it upstairs. We had to hire a cleaner. We couldn't get it all.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
that's how bad it got. And so most lab owners will understand that story. And I was looking for more lab space or a different space to move into, and I kept driving by this Thrive. I'm like, what is that? Finally, one day I called up and spoke to a guy named Charlie, and it turned out he was the owner. And I said, what is this Thrive? He said, well, it's a shared workspace. I said, what's that? He said, well, everybody who is a member here either has a membership level where they just take a desk and they bring in their laptop or whatever, and they'll work from that desk, or they can rent these small enclosed offices. And I said, oh yeah. I said, well, I'm not the right audience for you. You know, I'm an ortho lab tech, and I'm trying to move my lab. And he's like, oh, well, I don't know. You might want to come by and take a look. I said, no, really, Charlie, I need the excuse my language, the shithole of your space. So, and I'm sure you don't have that if you've got offices and things. I mean, it can get stinky, it can get dusty, all that stuff. And he goes, you know, and they're from Minnesota originally. He goes, you know, my aunt has a dental lab in Minnesota. I said, really? No kidding. You know.
So he knows about them.
He knows a little bit about that. And he goes, so you might want to look into it. So, you know, we went back and forth, and I finally wound up in the storage area of the space.
You were showing me earlier the little tile section that used to be the.
Yeah, this is the area that we intended to rent. From the
black carpet back
to that back wall. Okay. Well, now we're going to take over all of it. You know, we're going to, the 3D printers are going to go over here. And so we have some workspace, and, you know, if you're like me, any lab owner, they're going to, you know, you're going to want to take up all the space you can. So if there's a blank spot, you're going to fill it with something.
Oh, yeah. Something.
It's something. Yeah. So, I mean, even these, let's see. I don't know if you recognize this machine here.
Oh my God. Is that a Wells?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh. A belt drive handpiece.
It's awesome. It works. It's great. And I like that one because it's got a great, it fits your hand really nicely. It's balanced. So let's see.
Oh,
yeah.
So you got your workstation.
This is my computer workstation here. And then I come around here and I've got my welder right there.
So you do some invoices, then you do some welding.
You're on to me. And then here's our BioStar station.
And your NSK 500, which is my favorite handpiece ever.
It is. It is the best.
And I hate that they stopped making them.
Oh no. So this is our ventilation system. This is a kept air flex. And I'll tell you a little story about this guy. It bounced down the Boulder Turnpike. I had found it on Craigslist. Yeah. And I told the guy, and it was an aviation company out of Boulder who was just selling it on Craigslist for like $500. It's like a $2,500 unit.
Oh.
Yeah. And I, you know, and we made arrangements to go meet somewhere in Arvada to do the exchange and for you know, me to give him some money and me to pick up this overhead. He called me that morning and said, "Oh, Tina, I have some bad news." I said, "No, don't tell me you sold it out from under me." He said, "No." He says, "I was driving home and I look out the back of my truck and I see it bouncing down the turnpike."
Oh, no.
Kidding me. You didn't strap it down? So he says, "You know, I got it. I picked it up. It looks like it's okay. If you want it, you know, I'll still bring it." I said, "Yes, I want it." And he says, he said, "You know, because of this, I will bring it to you and you can have it."
What?
Score!
Yeah, blessing in disguise.
I know it.
It's like you just got a little road rash, and
that's all. Yep, I tested it. I put it back together, and it works like a dream. It's got, you know,
look at
easy.
Got the nice lights. Oh,
it's easy to run. Everybody loves it. It's not too noisy.
Yeah, we're getting. So Diana Lopez from Ecuador, you know, she says hi. And she's saying beautiful lab.
Oh,
yeah. Nice. And then she said the machine is a survivor.
Oh, yeah.
It's a survivor.
She is a survivor, all right. I have to replace there's 3 levels of filters on here, and I have to replace them every year just to keep things running right.
Yeah.
And that can get expensive. That, it's about $350.
Yeah.
Not that bad to breathe fresh air.
Right. Yeah. And to keep your neighbors happy.
Right. I have 2 technicians that work full-time, part-time. So what that means is one comes in on Mondays and Wednesdays and works an 8-hour day. The other one comes in on Tuesdays and Thursdays and works an 8-hour day. And then Fridays are my days alone, almost. I have another admin type person who does a lot of the computer work, the 3D editing. She cuts down the Essex style retainers.
Some quiet work without
yes,
machinery going.
That's right.
Your Fridays are your quiet days.
That's right. So so I virtually have somebody with a ton of experience here, 4 days a week, 8 hours a day, and we get her done.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that ton of experience is hard to find in this.
Well, it's
world.
it's interesting, and that's probably for another podcast. But I found that if you bring on people that might have their own lab, but don't want to invest in the 3D technology.
I think we talked about this at the conference.
We did.
You were putting together a helpline for those that are don't want to. They just want to bend the wires. Please just let me bend wires. That's all I want to do.
All I want to do is make hollies, or all I want to do is make expanders, or whatever it is that their talent or that they dig. And I'm all about it, And if you hire people in that at that spot in their career, and then you hire somebody who's young and new in the industry and get them partnered with the people with more experience, I think you have a winning combination.
Oh yeah. I think you're onto something there, because there's plenty of people, and I talk to them a lot of time. They've been in it for 30 years, and they just want to do the work, and they don't. There's an in-house lab tech I'm thinking about, and she complains about the 18-year-old assistants, and she's like, they're getting paid the same as me, and I've been here 30 years, and it's when she goes on vacation, the whole place falls apart.
Right. Yeah.
Something like this would be her dream. She don't want to retire.
No.
She just wants to keep working. And
exactly. And you don't want them to lose their, you don't use it, you lose it, right? I mean, I tried to bend a holly the other day, and it took me forever.
Right.
I'm out and nurturing our accounts and trying to get new accounts and talking to docs and going to suppliers and thinking about the remodels and the additions and all of the things that lab owners try to stay up on when they're not actually a one-man band or a two-man gig, making appliances and running everything. So, I think we're in that transitional period where we can offer some folks who we can really appreciate those who have the experience.
Oh yeah. They're so valuable. And I hate to hear, in 2020 the COVID happened, and there were a lot of labs that they go, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this. I was going to retire in a couple of years. I'm just going to retire early.
Yeah.
And so there's so many of them that I think there's only 5,500 labs in the U.S. and probably 1,000 of those are ortho. Or I bet we're less than 1,000 now of ortho.
Wow, that knocks me over. That's too bad too, because these guys spend their entire lives doing incredible work, precise work, and they do just such good, and the industry is just passing them. I don't know. I don't know if that's. I don't know what I don't want to say it, but
they've pulled over to the slow lane and then just and they're just getting
Yeah.
past and they're going the speed limit.
And with our, and we understand that. I understand that. And you certainly understand that when we're, dabbling with an Anycubic 3D printer. I think to myself, Bonnie would just pass out. I mean, she would just be like, yeah, no.
Not for me.
I'm going to go find a job mowing yards or something. I'm not going to do that anymore. But
you need help laying tile? Because
right, exactly.
I don't want to 3D print any more stuff.
Right. But, and the technology is getting better and better. But I think there ought to be more, if anybody out there knows how to form a cooperative, there ought to be more companies like mine that will bring in some talent and let them do their thing, let them do their craft. And the nice thing about that is my technicians go home and they don't have to think about this anymore.
Right.
They don't have to think about marketing. They don't have to think about invoicing. They don't have to think about any of that stuff. They get it done and they go home.
And that might be the future. Is these companies are coming in and buying smaller labs, and there's something to be said about that's scary in our industry. But I can also see it because then the owner's like, I don't have to be owner anymore. I can just be an employee. And Bonnie was a Wonder Woman. I just don't know how she did it. She never let things get complicated. But I, of course, as you can see, I let everything get complicated. I just add and add. Well, you were forced. You were the industry kind of I mean, you couldn't have survived in the basement, like you said. And you're the first one I've seen that's using a work cooperative. First lab I've seen in a work cooperative. If you're watching this, type down below in the comments if you're in a work cooperative, because I think this is a cool concept.
I would love to show you a tour of Thrive if we have time.
Oh yeah, if you got the Wi-Fi that can handle it, we can do it.
Well, it's throughout the entire building. I'm on the Thrive.
That's part of the cooperative is Wi-Fi.
That's all part of the thing. So
this is cool. All right.
Yeah. So here's our lab. Hello.
Former storage.
That's right. All right. And then here's our signage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? We got a pretty cool logo, I think. Whoops. Wrong side. Yeah.
That's a clean logo. That's like Facebook level logo. You know what I mean? Just clean and.
Thank you.
Yeah. I like that.
All right. So this is,
right by the restrooms.
I'm telling you. So, and this is the area where, the members, I'm going to try to use my inside voice now.
I got you.
This is our member area. And they just come in, do their thing. And then some of these, as we go, they have a men's room too. And then this is a little kitchenette,
Okay, yeah. You can
small little, every, I think in the four corners of this whole facility. This is Maynard Insurance. This is United Healthcare Medical Office. I mean,
I feel like I gotta wave at him when you go by.
Yeah.
It's like, hey.
You're so polite.
Yeah.
This is a common area.
That's cool looking. It's like a bar.
Yeah. This is our manager. Yeah.
Hello. I'm getting a tour.
Yep. And then this is you can have all the coffee and tea that you would ever want.
That's huge.
Whoops. Sorry. It's backwards, so I don't know. Okay, there we go. And then, of course, beer on tap.
No way.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. I know. Sorry. And then, of course, we have the training rooms. So
if you get to rent those, I guess, or
yeah, you can rent these. It has all the AV equipment that you'd want. And then, so this is a nice size training room. And then we have another classroom as we go down. We have a bevy machine, so you can have sparkling water that's flavored, all that stuff. That's all included. You come down in, I know. You come down in here, and then if you want to demonstrate your laser welder here, you could have any of that stuff. So, I mean, if anybody wanted to come down and teach us some things and we teach them some things, it could happen.
I've seen a lot of labs do that where they invite their doctors in and they have a hands-on.
Exactly. This is the printing area that everybody has access to. So you have access to all of your high-tech printers, the shredder area thing. And then, of course, down this hallway is more private offices. And then, sorry about that. I don't think I showed you. There, down that hallway is a bunch of private offices. And then if we go around here to I hope I'm not making anybody too dizzy.
No, you're doing a really good job considering.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and another restaurant-looking bar thing.
Yeah, this is our kitchen area. It's an overcast sky today here in Colorado. So in this area, you can see the mountains when it's a clear day.
So you're in Boulder? No.
I'm in Arvada, which is on the west. It's a suburb of Denver. So I'm on the west side. So we have more taps. We have
awesome.
we have kombucha and dark beer and cider. But the kombucha is the most popular. Most people don't like to drink when they're working. I think that's that. But anyway, the kombucha is very, very popular. We're actually going to create 2 kombucha stations here. I guess the Thrive is going to do that. And then this is our outside patio.
Oh, see, that's what you decompress.
Yes.
Touch grass, so to speak.
That's right. And the lab techs like to come here and have their lunch. And, Thrive is really good about doing all kinds of cool things for their members. Like once a month, they have breakfast. They provide breakfast for everybody. Bring in burritos. Last month, it was cereal, every kind of cereal that you'd ever want. Lucky Charms, Frosted Mini Wheats, that kind of stuff that you do.
Oh, my gosh.
It was cool. And then, of course, this is another area of...
the next thing, you're going to have Saturday morning cartoons with cereal.
PJ time, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, and this is, more private offices and another little corner kitchen station there.
This is huge.
Yeah. So we go, this is it's sort of a horse track kind of.
So you get your jogging in if you need to.
If you're upset with the dog or something, you just do a few laps. You're good. Yeah.
Just while you're on the phone with them, just do your walking.
Yeah. Just walk.
That's how I am. I walk back and forth in my lab while I'm on the phone because I can't stay still.
So these are calling rooms.
Oh, there you go.
So you can go in here and do your cold calls or whatever because the compressor's going off or something is interrupting or whatever. So they have 2 of those. And now we're back. And then, of course, they have snacks. And so now we're back in the main space.
Well, I'm glad I'm not in there because my 2 teenage boys would destroy the snack place.
Say again. Sorry.
Oh,
I must have hit a spot. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. I was just saying my teenage boys, if they would come to work and they would destroy that snack area.
Oh yeah.
And I have to make sure. Are you drinking kombucha or is that what is that you're drinking?
It's cider, Dad. Cider's good for you. It's apples.
It's apples. It's vegetable. It's vegan.
Right. And then here we are back in the lab.
So speaking of that, was awesome. That's a selling point to come work for you.
Well, it is. Colorado's a great place to come, and it's we're always looking for good technicians, and that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to move things this direction so that I'd have some room for some more technicians, as they want to come and join our.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
And you got an island there where you were.
Yes.
Yeah, where your technicians were with the suction and have we ever figured out what that is? That the collector? No.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
I have one of those. We before the stream started, we were trying to think what that collector's called. So somebody tell us.
Yeah. So this area is where my this is where all the magic happens, right here. So, and then of course, here's this is
And you
our
built all
miniature.
the cabinets and
I did. I built the tables and bought the IKEA cabinets because I thought they were cool. They were nice colors. And of course,
yeah.
you know, it's, this is of course our Form Labs 3D printer there. Oh, while we're chitting and chatting, I may as well let these. So this is what I do when I have a print. I go
And
ahead.
you got the build platform too.
I have the build platform too, so it pops off really easily. And then I just put this little spatula right here, and then I let it drain. Siri, set a timer for 10 minutes. And I set the timer for 10 minutes. And then I go to the alcohol bath, and then I go into my glycerin.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I now show and tell. I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna switch these two.
Okay.
It goes along with yours.
Okay. Oh, cool. Oh, see? Oh, yes. I love that.
Well, my son, who's taught himself how to use Blender, which is a 3D,
Yes,
I
I have
downloaded.
a blender. Yes.
Yeah, and I downloaded one of these off of Thingiverse or something, and I said, my other ones I bought, they don't fit it. They don't fit the form build platform 2. So I said, can you stretch this and then rotate? This is backwards, like I'm having a hard time. But anyway, it's supposed to slide on there and hold it at a 45, but we got to
Nice.
reprint it because we messed up the angle or whatever. But
So here's what I'd like for you guys to do. And this is what's so great about lab techs. And you had said it before when we were talking about how inventive lab owners
Yeah.
can be. I would love for you guys to create, you could do a ball and socket and do clicks and turn it the other direction, because you can't always position an arch with the drain hole right. So if
right,
you use like a hip joint,
and just have it where it can rotate.
rotate
Yeah,
180.
yeah, yeah.
Now we've got
That's genius.
two sides, and even if you did 360, you might be able to hang it just far enough that it doesn't dip into the resin, but it will rotate and drain all the way around.
Yeah,
So that's
because
great.
you always have to like point the drain holes away from the
And you
the
know,
wiper arm. Yeah,
as you're playing Tetris,
yeah.
arranging those, you know, you're looking for the right position for you, and then you have to, okay, is it the front? Okay, the front, and do the side away from the, yeah. So
Yeah, you try to flip it around in your head, and you're like, okay, I can't do this. Oh, let me close the lid. I know. Hold on. But oh my gosh, there's a wire in my chair. We were just talking about that. That would have been no.
That-
Oh,
that can,
that was
that can fix itself in the apex of your butt cheek.
look at that. That would have been man. I'd have to marry that afterwards.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good.
But yeah, talk about how inventive technicians are. When you said you put a spatula right there, I was like, oh, that's genius. I'm sitting here trying to make a blender thing, but
Well, I did buy the. I bought this one that I found online, and
oh
it
yeah,
doesn't- yeah, but it'll only drain one direction, and that's where I thought, well, you know, screw this. I can literally flip this 180 degrees and drain the other side if I needed to. Fortunately, this one is good.
yeah,
And when it's done draining, I'll pop that off and on this paper towel and soak up a little bit more resin if I have to, so I can save that expensive IPA.
oh yeah, yeah. I don't know which expensive IPA, expensive resin. You know,
Right.
because I was leaning these in such a way it was actually draining into the machine, and then it was going underneath, and I was like, okay, stop draining. I don't want to ruin the machine. I'm trying to save, a few dollars in resin. It's going to ruin a $3,000 machine.
Yeah. You end up spending $1 to save a quarter.
Yeah. Or ruining a machine that you can't use anymore.
Right.
So then that's when I worked on that. So that's funny that we were both talking about that.
Well, yeah, and then of course, you've got your IPA, and you have the expense is also not only ordering more IPA by by the gallon. We get 4 gallons in at a time, but you also have to dispose of it.
Right.
And I get safety clean out here to dispose of it, and that's a few $100. It just because where are you going to throw it away? Who's going to burn it for you? Who's going to
Right. Yeah.
You live in the country, so you might have something.
Well,
I'm in the city.
Yeah. I get access to sunlight, and so I pour it in a
in a shallow
Tupperware,
pan. Yeah.
in a shallow pan, and just let the light cure it and evaporate all the stuff off, and then a few days I just go out there and flip it, like a pancake.
Yeah.
and
then that's smart. That's the way to do it.
But yeah, I could see, depending on where your lab is, you got to do certain things.
Yeah.
And I could totally see having to do, or getting a moonshine. I know there's some labs getting those distillers,
and just burning it that way.
Yeah, distilling it out, and then they're left with the resin, and they got clean IPA after they've distilled it out. So then they just reuse the IPA, and they just keep recycling the IPA. And I guess they take that sludge and then cure it, and then once it's solid, they can throw it away.
Sure. Wow, that's an interesting concept. I would like to have maybe, I don't know, maybe offline, drop me an email and let me know who those people are. I can talk to those guys.
Well, there's a $200 one on Amazon I got my eye on. And so, we all got the Amazon list that's for the lab. And
no question about it.
Yeah.
Yep. No question about it.
But I'm hoping to do interview Don Inman, and he actually bought, I think, an industrial one. And we'll talk about that. So, and it stands on the floor by itself.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna have a seat here.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the tour. That was a really neat idea. So you were sold on this WorkShare program, and pretty quickly, I guess.
Well, after I saw the space and sort of had a vision of what it could be, and of course, I built this out over the COVID holiday.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had the time on my hands to do this, and to, I guess it was January. I intended to move in the first of the year in 2020. And January, I signed the lease, and I started the build out, part-time, because I was still in the basement at the house. And March came around and everything was shut down. So I, amped this place up as much as I could.
Just full blown, just go for it. But,
nobody could be around each other. So I had to do it by myself.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I couldn't bring in my construction friends. I couldn't do anything. I mean, I have this, I have a rubber floor, and I love this black floor.
Yeah.
Even though it shows a lot of dirt and stuff, you can find a pontic.
And a wire.
And a wire. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you can. It's an anti-fatigue thing too. I really like the tiles, the rubber tiles, and they're about a 1/4 inch thick.
Use them in workout rooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gyms.
I didn't even think about doing the whole floor in those.
Let me tell you, it's compared to working on that VCT, that vinyl composite tile over there that I showed you before.
Right.
That's hard on you.
That's concrete. That's pretty much concrete, isn't it?
Yep.
There's nothing underneath it. And you're
Nothing
taking
like
care
a
of
new
your
varicose
employees.
vein when you go back home, right? Nothing like a new bad suit, nothing like a new little varicose vein.
Like, who
Right.
who was running around with markers, Keebler elves, and they were just
Right?
marking up our ankles? What
Right?
happened?
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is a fabulous floor. That's the best decision I've made with that is the floor for sure.
Yeah, and my mom and my dad during the COVID, they were building this out too, and I was like, I want like all white, and they couldn't find all white, and so they had to go with like a light gray or whatever, and they went with gray. My dad calls them lick 'em and stick 'em, the vinyl floors. You just peel it off and stick them together.
Yeah.
And
you got to have a nice flat floor for that.
Yeah, and it's a wooden floor, so it does have a little, because I have a huge refrigerator and stuff, so you kind of walk downhill sometimes.
Yeah.
And if it rains a lot, and then it gets dry, and anyway, it's gray, and if you drop a wire, you can actually watch it drop and hit the floor, and it goes. I watched you drop, and it just disappears, and you got to get down there and put your head sideways on the ground and
Where
look.
the hell are you?
Yeah, there it is.
That's great.
But you're really taking care of your employees. You're worried about their health and
Absolutely.
they're more productive, if they're healthy.
Absolutely. I mean, I we were talking about earlier those all-nighters, and that's no fun. It's no fun learning new technology. It's no fun. The fun part sometimes can be creating a new appliance or creating a design in your acrylic or playing with some of that stuff. It's kind of like in the tile business, grout day is payday, and grout day is also the day that you can see your work. There's some instant gratification. And so when you're cutting down and polishing your acrylic, for me, that's grout day. That's the day they're adjusted, they're shiny, they're beautiful, they're tiny little works of art, little pieces of jewelry. And it's so rewarding. That part is so rewarding. And I'd much rather have folks that are into that are good at that, doing that, and not have to mess with.
Right, you're the floater. You're taking care of the exterior stuff, and you do what your talent is. I'm going to give you all the tools and weapons to do what you do best. And
if I ever hear him bitching, I just like, what was that? And then I think, okay, how can I make that better? So we all bitch, right?
Oh, I thought you meant more like, what was that? Like,
well, yeah, but these are professionals. These are folks that know their stuff. So, I always learn from them. I'm the new kid on the block comparatively.
But the good thing is you've taught yourself how to do it. And with
your help, with Steve Zara's help, with Priscilla's help, with Dr. Allen's help, with Dr. Chapman's, so.
And Steve taught you how to do it right, and I taught you what not to do. And so you got the yin and the yang.
Oh, I know. You're so humble, my friend. You're so humble.
What is scary is I get comments on like my Adams class one I did 7 years ago, and he's like, "Oh, thank God I found your video. I'm in dental school and I didn't know how to bend one of these." And I was like, "Oh no."
What did I say back then?
Yeah, it's like they're not. Well, what I was like, what are they teaching in dental school now or an ortho residency? And
I see. Yeah, of course.
You said Bonnie got taken under her wing by an orthodontist who knew how to make retainers, and was like, "I'll show you how to make them." And that was my story. I had one that was like, "I can show you what I know," because he used to make retainers in his garage, and then I became the in-house, and it's like, "I'll show you how to do it." And he goes, "But there's a school in San Antonio. You may want to go check that out." And I did. And he goes, "Quality of your work went off the charts once you started going to that course." So
And how did it help you speed wise?
It didn't help much speed wise, the school.
No.
Yeah. Book knowledge was all there.
Sure. So now you knew why.
Yeah. Knew why, I couldn't use this chemical with this, or, the setting expansion of this is 12%. So the shrinkage of gold needs to be 12% to counteract the expansion, that kind of stuff. But when you, you don't have to be a CDT in Colorado, right?
No, not well.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I don't think you do. So you don't have to worry about taking that test.
Mm-mm.
But that was my goal, because in Texas, if you wanted to open your own lab, you had to be a CDT. So I went to school because you could take it immediately after school, and you have 2 written tests, and you ace them when you're in school because you got the book knowledge.
Sure.
But then the hands-on, you got to make 5 appliances in 5 hours in front of somebody. That someone coming out of school and you're slow, you're taking every single one of those minutes, and one of my professors was like, okay, you write it down and go minute 1 to minute 15 labial bow, minute 11 to minute 50. Every single minute was accounted for each stage of those appliances, and then you had to learn how to, while that's drying, start this, and then while that's drying, go back to this, and
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a double-edged sword. I 80% of me wishes that we were required to be a CDT.
Right.
Yeah.
It
other
is a double-edged sword.
Just doesn't want to be non-compliant.
Yeah.
But we had let's see. Yeah, Bonnie's
library.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, these are, I don't know, this is 1940 something, 50 something, I guess. But yeah, we have, and I've got some CDs. I think those are my bonding samples. But I got all of that stuff.
Yeah. Jay Tyler's videos.
Yep. And they were helpful. Bless his heart. It was hard for me to stay awake, but yeah, they were very helpful.
Right.
Oh, I'm just giving him a hard time. I like that.
And he came to one of the conferences. He was great.
Yeah.
He was great to talk to.
He was. And Priscilla, it was great because Priscilla was able to educate him on a few chemistry things that she knew about, and obviously in her quest to offer a better monomer and polymer formula, and some colors and different things like that. So she was, it's just impressive how at these conferences you can exchange that knowledge, and really everybody can go home with something cool.
Yeah, there's always a pearl. My mentor, Ernie, who was DLAT president, and he brought me aboard, and he owns a lab in San Antonio, and he wanted to bring more ortho classes, which eventually attracted you to go there, and attracted Priscilla to go there. And he always said there's always one pearl you can pick up at these conferences and take back home with you and implement, and it makes the whole expense of it worth it.
Yep. Yeah. And the other nice thing about that is you can build these relationships with people, and if you ever have a problem, you can talk it out. You can call one of them up and talk it out. Back in the day, from what I understand, you wouldn't talk to another lab tech.
Oh yeah.
Fear of getting all your accounts stolen.
Right.
I think there's enough to go around. I think there's plenty of work. I think there's plenty of, to elevate anybody's craft, you got to work together.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's why we do the podcast. This kind of thing, because I love the story of you would never get someone else's story back in the day when they hid things from each other, and everybody was in competition. But you find out at these conferences, there's somebody there that has the same problem as you, or had it, and has learned to fix it, and you get to learn from them, and they get to learn from you, and
you get to that's the same thing in construction. Now we're all friends and we're all bidding on a certain project, and if one person gets the project and needs help, we all go get hired by that guy and go help.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or like I'm out of thin set, and I need to
Exactly.
get this.
Yeah.
And-
I need this, I need a in-floor heat system tester. I got a break in the wire somewhere. Do you have one? Can I borrow yours, or can I rent yours, or whatever? So
it only makes it better, in the end, it makes
exactly. In the end, we're all better. We're all better. We all know more together.
Yes. There you go. And I think we need to, we're at an hour. You see how fast
Awesome.
these things go?
I'm so nervous.
You were worried about it, and I was like, no, because we've gotten talk about friendship. We've gotten on call. I think you had an Easy RX question. I was like, let's jump on a Zoom call real quick, and I'll show you what I do. And you'd be like, okay, that's not what I want to do. I want to go. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Well,
But-
no, I know what you're talking about. It was a QuickBooks Easy RX issue. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very cool. Very helpful.
And so it was great to be able to reach out to somebody and
Yep.
reach out to Priscilla or other friendships you get there. So everybody come to the meeting. I harp on this all the time. I think I have it here. Boom. It's April 5th and that might be wrong. It might be 4th and 5th. No, it's 5th and 6th. It's that weekend of the 5th. It's at the West End, Dallas Fort Worth. Registration should be opening hopefully in a few months, or at least a schedule out so you can see what classes are going to be available. But it is I'm going to say the biggest ortho lab conference in the world.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
I'd like to know what's bigger.
Yep. So I'm going to end it there. Thank you, Tina, for telling your story.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's great to see you, Cade. And I apologize. I don't have the sophisticated camera things that you do. I just realized that I've been staring at you the whole time, and that is a little bit impersonal. But I don't know. I'm not techie.
I go back and forth. I'm like I look at you, and then I go back and forth. Yeah, I'm the same way. And then I got all thee fancy things like this.
Ew.
And
Yeah.
hello. And hello.
All right. Goodbye.
Yeah. We'll say goodbye on that one. But
Right.
yeah, again, thank you for telling your story.
Of course.
And maybe it inspires someone out there to hang on and keep going after that education, because that's what helps out in the end for everything. But
Glad to be here.
hang on for a minute to let everything upload. And I'm going to end the stream. Until next time, everybody out there, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next week, hopefully.